Hi, I'm Emmanuel Akonothi, and I'm here to talk about corporate governance and accountability and why it matters for every business leader. So, corporate governance as as the framework of structures, policies, and processes used by organizations to guide and manage their activities. Corporate governance also ensures that power and decision making are exercised in a way that promotes accountability, fairness, and transparency. Now, when this exists, it means that it helps to balance the interest of shareholders, management, and other stakeholders while driving organizational performance. Someone will say, why corporate governance? It is so because when a company has stronger corporate governance practices, policies, and processes, it promotes openness, responsibility, and ensuring long-term success of the organization. Whereas in an institution or an organization that has a weak corporate governance practices, allows unchecked power. And then when power is unchecked, as human as we are, it leads to failure of the organization. Why corporate governance matters globally? It matters because investors all over the world use corporate governance or use governance standards to evaluate companies. They look at how the business is governed and how policies and procedures are helped in achieving the goals of the organization before they even come in to assist with their funds and other stuffs. So when a business has a weak corporate governance, there wouldn't be any investor wanting to come and invest in the business. And when it becomes that way, it leads to, or it cuts off access to foreign aids and capital. And also it reduces the confidence of the investor. Comparative corporate governance systems. We have the Anglo-American model, the European model, and then the Asian model. The Anglo-American model focuses on shareholders, and then it is characterized by a dispersed ownership. When we talk of dispersed ownership, we mean ownership where an organization where the owners are many, and then they are dispersed like small owners. And for Anglo-American model, it emphasizes on strong transparency. Then we come to the European model practiced in Germany and France. This one focused on stakeholders of the organization, the employees, the banks, and then even the society. And this one has a concentrated ownership, which means few large owners. And then it's practiced a two-tier board system. Then we also have the Asian model practiced in Japan and then China. This model focuses on relationship and networks. It is characterized by family or a group control, which is common, and then governance systems in Asian model is still evolving. Then we come to roles of board of directors. So we say that the roles or the responsibilities of board of directors are to define the mission of the organization. They are to help the organization set its targets in either the operating year or the next few years, and then they define the purpose and then they set those targets of the organization. The board of directors also approve CEO and then management. So they have the authority to hire or fire any top level appointee. Then the financial direction. This one, because the board of directors are actually diversified, they also provide financial advice for the direction of the business, and their role established in financial policies and taking important decisions related to budgeting and investment. Then the oversight. Board of directors also serve as the outside eye of the company, and by so they are directed to oversee the strategic plans, the ethics, and the policies of the organization to meet the organization's targets at the end of the period. We are looking at shareholder activism and shareholder rights. So this shows there's a spectrum, a segment analysis from aggressive nature, that's from the high to low. We have the hedge fund activism. This one, investors aligned with hedge funds seek to change company strategy. The activists use money to obtain company share, and then proxy contest for control of board arises. Vote no campaign is also an activism or shareholder right. Investors urge shareholders to vote withholding. Campaigns are sponsored by labor pension funds, etc. Then we have the shareholder proposal. This goal includes change in compensation plans, the governance policies, and what have you. Then we have the say on pay. This also includes say on pay vote proxy item and the rest. Then we come to accountability mechanisms. Every organization has an accountability mechanisms that are in checks. We have the internal and we have the external. The internal, we have the shareholders, the board of commissioner, the board of directors, the management, and then the external, we have the standards, we have the laws, we have the regulations, we have the financial aspects, controlling the debts and equity of the organization. We have the markets, that's the competitive factors, the product markets, the finance, foreign direct investments, and corporate control. Now, in between this internal and external, we have the reputational agents. These reputational agents are the accountants, the lawyers, the credit rating organizations, investment bankers, financial media, the investment advisors, the corporate governance analysts, and what have you. What are some of the contemporary challenges of corporate governance and accountability? We have the ESG, that's the environmental, social, and then the governance. Now, pressures are increasing on demand for sustainability and ethical practices. So when an organization fails to follow ESG, it weakens their trust and damages their reputation. An example is the VW, where they said their vehicle does not emit harmful substances, but later it was found not to be so. We have the cybersecurity risk, and this risk are a threat to data, they're a threat to privacy and digital systems failure. Examples, the Equifax data breach that exposed millions of users. One of the challenges is weak internal controls. That is poor monitoring and lack of accountability structures. It leads to failure. An example is the FTX collapse due to lack of transparency and control. Then board ineffectiveness. When the board is not effective, there is a lack of independence, there is poor oversight of management, then definitely it will lead to reputational risk, it will lead to legal risk, it will lead to even a collapse of the organization. An example is the Enron board. Yes, the Enron board that failed to detect financial misconduct. How can we practically practice corporate governance? How can we do it? We say that organizations must strengthen accountability systems. The procedures put in place, the policies put in place by organizations must be strengthened and strictly followed. The organizations must also hold leaders responsible. They should be held accountable for decisions and then the outcomes of their decisions. When organizations follow strict layout processes, procedures, and structures, it can help to practice good corporate governance. In conclusion, I would say that corporate governance is a strategic pillar. It is not just a compliance requirement, because it helps the organization to know, it helps the organization to know the policies they have, and then their line of activities within the next few years, and then the outcomes. Now, accountability also ensures that leaders are responsible, transparent, and performance-driven. Then we also say that a strong corporate governance system helps organizations to minimize risk, prevent failure, and then build trust. So when the board of directors overseeing the activities of the organization are rightly on their toes, it helps to minimize risk, and it prevents any failure. And when these are missing, it builds the trust of the organization. So this is where I end my presentation. Thank you very much for having time and listening to me. You can leave your comments and your views. Thank you.